Hey everybody, I know this is impromptu. Believe me, I didn't plan on going live myself, but I just caught wind of the Grace Randolph video. Now, if you're a long-time listener to the channel, you know how I feel about her. I'm not necessarily a Grace Randolph fan by any stretch of the word fan, but she put out an excellent video today that I had to discuss. Initially, I was making a video on it, and for some reason, I was just so excited about the news and excited about opening up a dialogue between us that I just went live. So I don't know how long this is going to go for. It's very unscripted, impromptu, but let's talk about this. So I wouldn't say we won just yet. Um, Grace Randolph put out a video to get you guys up to speed about how Kathleen Kennedy was almost fired. According to Grace Randolph's sources, and I get insider information too at our level. She's over 10 times bigger than us. So take it with a grain of salt, but I mean, with somebody with those kind of connections, maybe so. Plus, what would somebody like Grace Randolph have, or what would she benefit from making this bullshit up? So, according to her, there was a meeting at Disney, and it was a super secret meeting in terms of like guards and stuff to make sure that people couldn't eavesdrop on it. But in her video, she states that there was a conference call, and it not only had the Lucasfilm people involved, but it had the Marvel people and the Pixar people. So basically, everyone under the Disney umbrella was in on this, either listening or involved, and they're trying to figure out what to do with Star Wars because they know it's a shit show. So if this source is 100% accurate, then people like me and Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers and EVS, we weren't full of shit the whole time. Um, Somebody like me, I've been on this crap since The Force Awakens, and now it's finally making its way up the chain of command. They know the situation. They can't deny it anymore. So Grace discussed about how Bob Iger was trying to find a replacement for Kathleen Kennedy, but no one would step up to take the job out of loyalty to her or out of fear. So it hasn't changed yet, but the talk is there. She's aware of the fragility. Well, fragility is not a word, but the fragile nature of her job safety. It's not there. It's not 100% secure. And there was even word that J.J. Abrams was suggested to take over the helm of Star Wars, which to me that's just as bad as Kathleen Kennedy, because that dude is a cuck McCuckerson. I mean, remember how he said if you don't like the new Star Wars movies, you're intimidated by women. So we need to just purge those people out of the Lucasfilm offices. But no, nobody has stepped up. J.J. Abrams did not, or turned down the job implicitly. So they went on to say that the only movie that is not 100% canceled is the Obi-Wan movie, which was exciting because people on the inside know and the fans know how good it could be, but they also know how much they could fuck it up because of the people in charge. So it's almost like Bob Iger knows if he just wipes out the entire staff that's in charge of creating the films at Lucasfilm, gets a couple people in there, they could really change the course of Star Wars, because like Grace Randolph says, 2019 is the year that can make or break this. So if us, the fans, or we, the fans, stay on this, we constantly talk about how Solo was a failure, how they treat us like shit, keep up the documentation, don't let it go. I mean, you're like a dog. You just keep at it. And we can make that happen. Also, Celebration next year. Make sure that people are aware of the situation. Spread the word if you're going to go. Hang out with us. We gotta represent the fandom menace, as Jeremy would say, and we can't allow people to forget about it. That's our job now. If you're listening to this show, you have a job. I've tasked you to make sure people don't forget. Don't be an asshole about it, but let everyone know how we got to where we are with Star Wars. And then they talked about the theme parks opening up. So if the morale of Star Wars fandom is not up by 2019, how many people are going to go out and support the Star Wars theme parks? Not that many. So they know that 2019 is the year, plus Episode 9 comes out next year. So the Grace Randolph video was interesting. I'm going to talk about it more in depth when I make a video discussing it, and obviously you guys don't want to miss that. But like I said, I had to go live, and no, I'm not closing this out. I'm just getting ready to start answering some questions. So I wanted to get the information out there while it was fresh in my mind. Big shout out to our friend Francisco over on the Facebook page that brought this to my attention, and now we're here. So I'm seeing a lot of stuff. So the SJW politics are going to be fire hosing the fandom as. I think that they're aware of the SJW politics in these movies, and that the old fans just want good stories. And the new fans want this weird inclusion shit, and to them, because it's inclusive, it's a good story. To us, and I'm going to put myself in the old fans boat. It's good. No, it doesn't matter what the people look like. It's got to be good. It's got to make sense. It's got to build on the legacy. Like Grace Randolph said, Episode 7 was an old rehash of A New Hope, and they let Harrison Ford dictate the fate of Han Solo, but they wouldn't let Mark Hamill dictate the fate of Luke Skywalker. So they messed it up on that end. They just don't know what they're doing. Like, everyone in charge is a fuck up. What would I do to make Obi-Wan a good film? You know, I was going to actually pitch my own idea for this when I think about it more in depth than I will. I'm Green Hulk, but we got to let's bring back a crawl to get people excited. We got to have that Star Wars theme. I don't care if it's thematically incorrect in terms of the prequels or the anthology movies and the saga films. I just want that. We got to, open it up, showing the battle on Mustafar to show where Obi-Wan is. And we basically continue after Episode 3 into that, and it starts out a little mundane, and then there's a new threat to Obi-Wan down the road, and it just is a kind of like an Old Man Logan comic book version of Star Wars movie. So that's what I'd kind of do. I don't think you need to let Star Wars die. That, to me, right now is the bad attitude to have, because you can actually change Star Wars. Because if you just let it die right now and you go on, well, they're going to think that your passiveness towards this whole movement, or however you want to phrase it, if you're just passive about it, they'll take your silence as being on their side. So if you actually give a shit, don't just let it die. Don't be ironic about it. Don't go, oh, I hated the last one. Fuck it. No. What you can do is just don't go see the movie. That's how you can let it die. Don't act like, what's the word? What are the words I'm trying to say? Don't just brush it off like it's not an issue. It's an issue, and don't go see that movie. Yeah, Sam's D-Reamer, we can save it. You got to save it, guys. It's really worth it. You're boycotting Star Wars until Kathleen Kennedy and Jar Jar Abrams or an Obi-Wan movie comes out. Then I'll be done with that. That's fine. I think it's a good idea to voice your opinion and be against Kathleen Kennedy in charge, because they are. She's on the ropes, folks. This video just isn't titled that. She is on the ropes. People are pissed off at this woman. People at the top are pissed off because she's losing them money. I mean, look at the Star Wars merchandise situation. If Star Wars was as lush of a merchandise brand as people want to say it is, people like Sci-Fi Wire and all that crap, you wouldn't have Star Wars toys super clearance. You wouldn't have the last things in a dying Toys R Us be Star Wars toys. I went to Toys R Us the other day. I'm going to make a video about it. And the store was 95% empty. But of the 5% that was there, a huge chunk of it was Star Wars toys. Remember those BB-8 playsets? I mean, they were $40, originally $200. So, I mean, and people still weren't buying them. That and this Power Ranger Megazord and about 50 Jyn Erso figures. But we'll talk about that later. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows. And they know it at the top, and that's why they're pissed off with Kathleen Kennedy. And then we're talked down to, and if she's the head boss of Lucasfilm and she allows all these people to talk down to us, well, it's her fault too. Blippity blop, Kathleen looks like she's from Utapau. Well, we'll talk about that tonight on your channel, so there we go. Oh, greetings from the Netherlands. You're going to see us at Star Wars Celebration. Make sure you find me, Brass Marine. I can't wait to meet you. Ding Dong the Witch is dead. Yeah, it's it really feels good. Sometimes we work on these videos and stuff like that, and it seems like the shill media tries to come out and brush all that away. Like, oh no, everything's fine, and then something like this comes out. So it just goes to show you we've been working towards what we've been working towards has meaning. Party Elm Civvy, thank you much for your super chat. Let's imagine it like Mass Effect 2. The odds of success aren't good, but if we gather the best on our side, we have a chance to do the impossible. Well, Party Elm Civvy, the fact that that this kind of stuff is in Bob Iger's ear is good news. Let's be optimistic about that. Positivity is a good thing. If you keep it up like that, it'll work. And if Bob Iger wasn't aware of the situation, then we'd have something to worry about. But the fact that this is a thing, that there are meetings about this, goes to show you that it works. And this isn't, for me, what I'm about to say isn't me tooting my own horn, but we have a video that's almost at 1 million views. And our ratio of our fans aren't even at 60,000 yet. So if we have a smaller fan base, but we can reach 1 million people with a video, that people out there want to know about this. So it's not just this small little group on the internet that people like Chuck Wendig and all these other people want to shit on us for and act like we're just nobodies. It's a bigger thing out there. So just remember that and stay excited. Daniel Thomas, thank you very much. Thanks for what you do, WCB. Keep it up. I definitely will. There is never going to be a time where I'm gone unless something happens to me and, there's no more videos, then something's wrong. Other than that, though, I'm here all the time. If you've noticed, as we've grown, I've definitely put out more videos because I'm having a lot of fun with it. She's not gone yet. She's still employed at Lucasfilm. It would be a lie for me to put that in the title of the video, but she's definitely on the ropes. People are aware of the situation. I've been reading how people are upset about the picture of Kathleen Kennedy. Do you want me to get rid of the picture of Kathleen Kennedy? Press F and I'll make it go back to the icon right here. So, no, but Zell, she's not gone. People want to replace her. Bob Iger has tried to bring up people to replace her, but nobody will. There's a bunch of loyalists on her side, and then there's other people that just don't think they have it in them. I would love to. I mean, I wish I was in the entertainment industry. I'd be the one that say I would do it. Obviously, that ain't ever going to happen because it's me. They don't know who the hell I am. But there are people out there that could do it. I think if you had a story group led by like Timothy Zahn and other people that have proved themselves efficient in the Star Wars brand, and don't worry about your diversity quota at the top, whatever. It's about the stories. Like, this is what you can always say to people that, oh, the old Star Wars are a bunch of white people and that's why they're bad. The old Star Wars movies have reached more people than any other franchise in history. The world wasn't full of white people then, and it's not full of white people now. Those movies have played all over the world for the last 40 years. So, yeah, maybe the majority of Star Wars fans are white, but I'm not white, as well as many other Star Wars fans. Look at old pictures of the line of people going to see the first Star Wars movie, or all the conventions, or people in costume. They're not all white people. They're people from every walks of life of every color. So, fuck anyone that says that kind of stuff. David Hervey, thank you. I believe it. Grace used to work for Marvel. Yes, Grace used to work for Marvel for sure. And I used to kind of be angry about... Oh, I'm seeing a lot of Fs. Let me turn off... there we go. Grace used to work for Marvel, and then I used to think that she was... I don't really take her stance on Marvel stuff too close to heart, because for a while she seemed very bitter about what happened to her. So I just haven't watched a lot of Grace Randolph content. This is exclusively about her Star Wars video and how I feel about her in terms of that. And the news is fantastic. At this point, do you think Kathleen Kennedy will be gone before September? I can hope. I can only hope. I think if they're going to get rid of her, they need to do it to make sure it's not the story among the crowd at Celebration. Like, a PR disaster would be to fire her during Celebration, because a lot of people like me would be there and we would clap and applaud for her being gone, and that would control the entire thing. The show would no longer be about the possible Episode 9 trailer, or it wouldn't be about whatever news we're going to get. It would all be about Kathleen Kennedy being fired, and that would supersede everything else. So September seems like the right time, because that's what gives them a 6-month window, for the 7-month window really, for the fans to kind of wash the taste out of their mouth, have a new successor announced, right the ship that is Star Wars. So September could be a good thing. Frank, yeah, the original trilogy does have a lot of diversity in terms of aliens. A lot of stormtroopers are actually women and minorities. Greedo is played by a woman. I know Greedo is played by a woman. I've seen the pictures of Greedo in high heels. It's quite funny. Yeah, I mean, what do these people want in terms of diversity in Star Wars? I mean, having a woman in the lead of the trio, I guess, was diverse and groundbreaking in 77. I just looked at this. Princess Leia was cool and served a purpose to the story, and she faced adversity. She wasn't this Wonder Woman type character who could fight off Darth Vader. She talked shit to Darth Vader, and that was cool, but she wasn't, able to take him on ever. Rey, on the other hand, first time she meets the villain, boom, she wins. So there was a ton of diversity in Star Wars. Diversity doesn't necessarily mean how many black people, white people, this or that. It can be diversity of ideas, diversity of backgrounds, all that stuff. And it just goes to show you that when you story first, I mean, everything else falls into place. Han shot a woman. This changes everything. Not cool. Thank you very much for your super chat. Thanks for all your hard work. Do you think it's possible at this point for episode 9 to provide a satisfying ending? The new trilogy didn't have a satisfying beginning, so I don't know. When I say things about the modern Star Wars and critique movies and stuff like that, it's not that I'm just an angry guy that wants to shit on everything. I mean, if you want to hear me praise stuff, go back and watch us talk about Avengers Infinity War, or I liked Deadpool 2, not as much as the first one, but I mean, I try to keep myself very balanced in terms of could it be good, could it be bad? When I say about Star Wars, I mean it from the bottom of my heart. No, because it started out like shit with episode 7. It started out like the laziest possible way ever. Then it got fucking worse with episode 8. That is the worst Star Wars movie, hands down. I don't care if anyone says, well, episode 2 is pretty shitty. Yeah, it can be shitty, but it's not as shitty as episode 8. We've reached the bottom of the barrel. Now, do I think episode 9 will be better than episode 8? It has to be. You don't have to see Han killed off or Luke killed off. You don't have to see a lack of normal progression. Episode 8 ruined Star Wars. Now, will 9 fix it and bring us back to where we were supposed to be? No, this isn't going to be like, hey, once the Terminator's dead, the future is safe. No, this is like, we barely got away from the last one and we're limping along. What can be done next? You can't make Princess Leia the main focus of the story, and you can't build her up to be this mythical character at the end with her overseeing the rebellion and all that crap, because let's be honest, the battle that the New Order or the Empire and the Rebel Alliance 2.0 are waging, that battle is stupid. It makes no sense. It wasn't explained to us well enough in the beginning to why they're fighting, how the Empire came back, all these things. I mean, if you have a brain in your head, you know that the reason we have X-Wings and TIE Fighters and the First Order, which is essentially the Empire, is because it's a way to market nostalgia and bring all that shit back. It's not about what's logical in terms of the story or where we should be. It's about how can we milk money out of these people. Now, they're milking money. They're trying to milk money out of people and shitting on them at the same time, and that doesn't work. People have woken up to the trick. Hey, this is the same shit that came before, and now we're constantly being dumped on by them. And I'll use us and them, the fans and the media, the people that create the media. But episode 9, I will say, for me at least, will be a lost cause. What can be satisfying? Rey's hero journey is not very good. I mean, what adversity does she face? I sound like a broken record because it's the same problem. She hasn't faced adversity. She's beaten the villain. She has nothing to gain. There's no arc to her story. Luke Skywalker had an arc. He went from farm boy who saw his parents or his aunt and uncle be killed. He went off. He fought the Empire. He was already an established pilot. He helped defeat destroy the Death Star. Then he goes to be a Jedi. He faces the bad guy, loses, then returns and wins finally. What does Rey have to do? She beats him in the first one. She gets away in the second one. And is she going to defeat him in the third? Do they really think that turning Kylo Ren to the light side is that interesting of a story? I mean, if you're that emotionally invested in the character, awesome. I'm not here to shit on you and tell you you're wrong. But for where I'm coming from, he's not that interesting. He's a petulant child. He doesn't have any comeuppance to get because he received it. So I hate to use this term, but it's like you're getting ready to be with this beautiful woman, and you know, it's like American Pie. You blow your load before the thing even starts. There's nothing else. It's over. It's fucking over. She can do whatever, but it's over. Nadia's going to leave, and the whole school's going to see you embarrassed, Jim. That's what Star Wars is now. It's Jim. You know, it's a joke. It's everyone around them is better. You know, other franchises can kick ass, it seems like, constantly. We got constant Marvel wins. We have constant other franchises that are hitting it out of the park. But no, not Star Wars, not the Cadillac of brands. John Smith, thank you very much. Been in several tech comps. Grace's info makes complete sense in light of how companies work behind the scenes. Okay, well that even makes me feel better about the situation with Grace Randolph. I don't look at her numbers and think she would make up shit either. I'm not all of a sudden a Grace Randolph fan, so if I've said shit in the past, I stand by the fact that she seems like an abused wife by Marvel, and she's kind of got it out for him in terms of certain things. But in terms of this video, I feel like she brought stuff to the forefront that we all needed to know, and I'm very thankful for that. We had a super chat from Deus Pigeon. Rey had 2 weapons and had to choose between them. The gun that she missed one shot off of, and the lightsaber of Luke Skywalker. And can we just for a minute talk about how dumb her touching the lightsaber and seeing all that shit was? Just saying, J.J. Abrams crap like that really turned me off to Star Wars too, because lightsaber is a tool. It doesn't, like when Han Solo picked it up, did he see Anakin's plight? No, obviously, because the story wasn't written yet, so we know that. But still, I don't like that. There are so many things from Episode 7 that roll in, and this is jumping back to that other question, that I don't think we can get a satisfying conclusion. Benny Warren, thank you very much, Match. Star Wars Episode 8, New Moon. I think Twilight has a better showing than the new Star Wars trilogy. I don't know. I haven't seen the Twilight movies, but I'm just going to guess. Question mark. Tell me in the comments if you've seen the new Twilight or the new Star Wars movies and then Twilight. What does it better? Obviously, we're going to all say Star Wars, but you never know. Zell, what happened with Grace? You missed something. What did she do? Grace Randolph, just for those, because there's a bigger audience that is listening, and let me loop you guys back to the top of the hour in quotation marks. So Grace Randolph had an exclusive leak. Her video came out, and it was awesome. She discussed the fact that there was a meeting at Disney that there was a meeting at Disney where people at Lucasfilm, as well as people from Pixar and Marvel, who were there only to listen, a big conference headed by Bob Iger to talk about the situation with Star Wars, how Kathleen Kennedy was almost fired, about how this was very hush hush under lock and key, so no one could hear or eavesdrop in. And basically, Bob Iger was trying to find a replacement for Kathleen Kennedy, but no one would step up and take the job because either they were ill-equipped to, or they were afraid and they were loyal to Kathleen Kennedy. So that's where we are now. And basically, Grace's video has discussed the fact that Bob Iger, as well as people in charge at Disney, know the situation with the fans and how we the fans are pissed off at the way we've been treated and how Star Wars is underperforming because of the bad storytelling and the piss poor direction that Kathleen Kennedy is leading the brand into. So that's what Grace said. She also said how it was dumb to worry about this new market of, she called them SJW fans and the old fans. And the old fans were the ones that were supporting the brand. And the SJW fans are the ones that go on the internet and call Kelly Marie Tran this treasure, but they don't necessarily go out and buy Rose Tico figures. Like I've said, if everyone loved Rose Tico, I would not have found feet and feet of Rose Tico action figures at a Kroger. Just saying. She's not a loved character. Kids don't like her. The collectors don't like her. And you're thinking, oh, you can't worry about the kids and the collectors. Well, the kids want a cool character. Little kids like Captain America. Little kids like Black Panther. Little kids like Iron Man. Why? Because they're cool. You could say they're alpha male characters. If that's what the kids relate to, they just relate to power on screen. They don't want to have to think about, this and that. Like, don't mess with kids like that. Give them what they want. Show them a cool, little kids can get behind Batman because he kicks ass and drives a cool car. It's really simple. That's how you can make your money with this stuff. Don't try to overanalyze it or ruin it. Just give the people what they want. And we got another super chat from Bomba Shoes. Awesome Zelda name. I think episode 9 would be redeemed if it was turned into a McGregor/Billy D 1990s road trip. Oh, well, hold on for 1 second, folks. All right, folks, I'm back. Sorry for that. Quick phone call. It was important. I had to take it. So, back to what you were saying, though, Bombshoe. A 1990s road trip movie. I don't think you can really redeem it. Let's be honest, folks. Let's be honest. Want me to play armchair quarterback and try to redeem it? I will. What we'll do is you got to make Poe Dameron, you got to give him a strong showing. Don't let the shit that Princess Leia and Admiral Gender Studies get to him. Let's show that his heroic nature can work. Let's give give the fans someone to root for in terms of that classic type of character. Let's let Finn not be comedic relief. It doesn't need to be serious, but he can be making the jokes and be the funny character. Let's let him have a little swagger in quotation marks to him. I'm watching Luke Cage currently, and Luke Cage does have his faults and, have to falter and lose, but he does get to win in the end. So let's do that with him. Let's make Rey more vulnerable, I don't want her to be fucking pregnant. If this movie is her being pregnant with the Force, I'm walking out. I will scream and I'll ruin it for everyone else and I'll walk the fuck out. And then they can write about me online. There was this giant asshole that ruined the movie by screaming about her being pregnant. That'll be me. Blame me. But hope we had a super chat pop up. We'll get that in just one moment. And then, Princess Leia has to die. Let's just do that. She should have died in episode 8. We don't need to worry about C-3PO and R2-D2 or BB-8. The Kylo Ren needs to be more badass. He needs to actually be badass and a threat. And I don't think Rey should be the one to defeat him. Let's, don't bring back Captain Phasma as a clone or any of that other crap that people are spouting on the internet. Killer Carl Krupp, thank you very much. I wouldn't take over unless I had the authority to clean house and hand out pay cuts / financial penalties to every actor every time they attack the fan base and lose the company money. I like the way you think, Killer Carl. If World Class Bullshitters ever needs some strong direction, if I'm out of the office, you got the job. I think Bob Iger would be smart to just get rid of everyone in charge and not worry about the repercussions, because these people. Yes, these people at Lucasfilm speak in ideology, but Bob Iger and people that really control entertainment and media, they're all about the money. All about the money. So if Bob Iger's all about the money, let's do what the smart money is and get rid of these people that don't like Star Wars. I'm not saying you need to hire nothing but fans so they make you these unrealistic films, but respect the fans and respect the brand. That's where they're messing up big time. They don't respect the brand. I mean, would you guys like if we all of a sudden just ignored you and only covered golf? No, it'd be stupid. And then every time you complained about us covering golf only, you were just like, hey, what happened to us? And we're like, hey, golf's more important than you. Stupid analogy, but that's what's happening to us. Their ideology is trumping the good storytelling and what came before it. Rey is going to become so powerful she'll be able to wish away Thanos because I'm a strong woman. Oh my god, that'd be hilarious. I'm aware that a fan edited SJW characters out of The Last Jedi in the film. I didn't realize it was an hour short, but I've heard about that. I haven't checked it out. I haven't done a lot of fan edits. I did see one for episode 1. Or actually, it was with the whole prequels. And episode 1 was like a lightsaber duel and like 2 minutes of other films. So that's pretty funny. They'll kill Leia right at the beginning to save money on CGI. You'd have to wonder, in terms of the finances, like how much they're going to be able to get away with in this one. Because remember, folks, there was all that hype and goodwill coming from episode 7 that I'm sure Rian Johnson, if Ron Bergman said, hey, we need more money, Disney was looking at what J.J. Abrams was able to do and go, all right, you got it. That type of thing. I mean, if you really want a damning piece of evidence in terms of why The Last Jedi was such a failure, look no further than the official Blu-ray release and the documentary titled The Director and the Jedi. Everything in that documentary goes to show you what a shit show the production of the film was. I mean, more so than I can even tell you on the channel. You guys just got to see it for yourself. It's so smarmy and shitty to watch. Rian Johnson's, I hated it. It was really hard to watch. Thankfully, it brought EVS and I together, and we created the High Council. But just watch it yourself. Trying to read some of the things people are saying to keep this going. Oh, we had a super chat pop up from Saurian Sky. Thank you very much. Bob Iger needs to go too. Jar Jar Abrams admitted in an interview that Iger was meddling with The Force Awakens during the whole development. I need to check that out because that'd be an interesting read for me. No matter who's involved with The Force Awakens, that movie was the beginning of the end for me, at least in terms of Star Wars. So it would be interesting to read that myself. Saurian Sky, if you're a member of our Facebook page or you know how to contact us, why don't you email me that if you could? I'd love to watch it or read it or see what's going on and incorporate it into future videos here on World Class Bullshitters. Gary Bernaska, hey, what's up, man? Episode 9 will probably be a time jump so they can kill Leia off screen. That's some smart money right there. What I think they should do if they're going to do that is, well, here's the thing, they kind of have to, because the last movie ends with, 12 people of the rebellion, and Princess Leia says other systems will be sympathetic to our plight and all this other crap. But when The Empire Strikes Back ended and Luke was at an all-time low, the Rebel Alliance really wasn't hit in that hard in that film. They did face the defeat on Hoth, but at the end of the movie we're shown that there's an entire fleet ready to take on the Empire in the next film. So maybe if we would have seen something like that instead of, there's literally just the Millennium Falcon left and everyone that's going to fight this First Order is on the ship, that's dumb. So your time jump needs to explain how they amass another army to defeat the Empire 2.0. They're going to need to explain why Leia's dead, how Rey finally became a Jedi that's capable, and how Kylo Ren grew a pair. Like I keep saying, like, hey, Adam Driver's great, but Kylo Ren's terrible. We need to make that distinction. Yes, we do, but let's not forget how terrible Kylo Ren is. Let's stop trying to downplay criticizing a character. Let's see, if you keep hearing that, bring up more reasons why you dislike the character. Let's just stop trying to deflect the problem with Star Wars. Dio Brando, thank you very much. If it was Rian Johnson's decision, we get an N64 graphics Leia, he'd be thinking, yes, this will piss off the fans even further. Oh my god, I would be nostalgic for some Nintendo 64 graphics. I mean, those flat, blurry pixels and bad camera angles that you have to use the C button to control the camera sometimes, I'm all for that. So please, Dio Brando, if you could find a way to make that happen for me, I'd be very thankful. No, but Rian Johnson's philosophy on making films is just dumb. His "I'm here to piss off half the audience" mantra has pissed off more than half the audience. You don't really fuck with people's Star Wars. When George Lucas did it, people got angry. Now that other people are doing it, it's even worse. It's like, screw me one. What was the old saying? Screw me once, shame on me. Screw me twice. No, screw me once, shame on you. Screw me twice, shame on me. Well, we've been screwed once, and we allowed it to get to where we are now, and that's why we're pissed. So, thank you for that, Dio Brando. Let's see. Benny Warren, let's get Netflix to buy it. Let's not get Netflix to buy anything, because I follow Netflix on their Facebook page, and Netflix doesn't put out any original content that I'm interested in whatsoever. So I wouldn't throw it to Netflix at all. I would throw it back to Lucas before anybody at Netflix, because remember, Netflix is just like Lucasfilm. They have that weird SJW identity rolling. If you want Star Wars back the way it was, you just got to get somebody that's worried about, like, if it can reach the human element instead of the political element that people are trying to infuse with every piece of entertainment. Bomb Shoes. I spent yesterday watching a fan-made lightsaber duel video, and most of them are better than the Disney fights. I agree, even though I don't know which ones you're talking about, that the fan fights are a lot cooler. I'll still stand by the fact that the original ones, Empire and Jedi, have the best lightsaber duels, because for me, the lightsaber duels weren't about glitz and glamour. They were about emotion. They weren't really fighting to fight in terms of, like, they were fighting for something greater than just the duel itself. In Empire, Luke was fighting for his identity, for his will to stay true to the light side of the Force, not this, I'm going to do front flips because they look cool. By the way, that was the first time we ever saw a front flip in a lightsaber duel, and it was pretty cool, but I digress. And then in Jedi, it was about Luke almost on the precipice of the dark side, and then at the last moment, after he realized he's gone so far, pulling himself back out to show that he's truly the greatest Jedi of all time. In terms of pure choreography, I'll stick with the Episode 1 duel. That was really cool. And the Disney ones aren't really duels. Remember, we're not watching anybody trained at the height of their powers. And here's the thing. We're not watching Luke trained at the height of his powers in the original trilogy, so he loses. In this Disney one, we're watching some chick who doesn't know what the fuck she's doing, but she wins. There's the problem, but she wins. So I think you need to up the game in terms of everything with Star Wars choreography. And somebody brought a point over on our Facebook page. They don't look like Star Wars movies. They're shot differently. They're shot poorly. Let's fix that too for this next one. Thank you again, Bomb Shoes. Jeffrey Toon. It's ironic The Last Jedi was so divisive, yet it brought a very large and diverse community together against it. Very true. I hope that when Rian Johnson's trilogy is canceled and his candy ass is sent packing, that he tries to spout out one more line about, oh, it's this racist bigotry that ruined my trilogy, and then all of us from every walk of life, male, female, and every color there possibly can be, says, hey, dude, hit the bricks. Eat a dick. Oh, man, these are popping up now. Thank you very much. Justin Reiswig. Well, Ryan, you call us haters, but you preach about saving what you love. What do you think we're doing? There you go. There you go. True words have never been spoken about Rian Johnson. We are fighting for what we love here, the fandom. We can use John Campia's words about us against him too. Oh, a fandom. I like the movie and the fandom came against me. Dude, you represent a really bad part of the fandom. If you want, you're the toxic fandom. People like that are the toxic fandom, because people that dislike this movie, there are people from every walk of life that dislike it and like it. But my point is, the people that are coming together are a group of like-minded individuals that dislike a poorly created piece of entertainment, not necessarily people of color, but they keep trying to make it about that because they can't handle criticism on something they worked on. So they're the toxic ones by making it about something negative and terrible. And Rian Johnson will be, Rian Johnson won't get the last laugh and all that. He's sitting there laughing in his ivory tower, and I'm using quotations because Rian Johnson probably lives in like a weird ranch style home with like really crappy artwork, and he chops logs for firewood. Now, he can't lift an axe. What am I saying? His wife chops logs for firewood, and they live out, and they only have, really shitty Wi-Fi and stuff like that. He's a hipster extraordinaire, and he can live in his bubble, but our voices are going to shatter that bubble, and he's going to know that he fucked up when the name Rian Johnson has no respect in Hollywood. He'll be looked at on a number sheet as this is what he did to Star Wars, so he won't be getting the big franchises anymore. And people like us that have been burned by him, either personally on Twitter or through, the generalized statements they make, we're just not going to go support his fucking movies. If Rian Johnson was given, I don't know, a Schwarzenegger flick or something shitty like that, well, Schwarzenegger flicks used to be great, but a franchise, let's say Rian Johnson directed something we wanted to see, like another Terminator movie. That movie would probably die for two reasons, because Terminator is a garbage franchise now, and Rian Johnson's name's attached. The guy has basically become kryptonite. He damages everything he touches. Rian Johnson loves skinny jeans. I didn't know that. I've never looked at Rian Johnson outside of his round head. That's the thing I look at and go, oh, Rian Johnson. Your head's a bowling ball. How will history remember Roundhead? Well, you just answered your own question. Campia is a pathetic shill. Yeah, he is a pathetic shill, and he has lost his footing. He may have his exclusives, but he can take his exclusives and shove them up his ass because people don't care. I mean, we know what he is like behind the scenes and how he feels about the people. If that kind of information comes out about anybody, it's going to hurt them. And Rian Johnson and whatchamacallit, John Campia is not a celebrity that people line up to watch. He's just some dude that has some insider information. So people like that aren't, they can't let their ego get the best of them. Mr. Pete Channel, Iger loves Rian Johnson. We're getting that damn trilogy, sadly. Oh, no, man. Iger probably loves money more. And we're going to see... Who knows what's going to happen next. If this news is coming about Kathleen Kennedy, nothing is safe. You never know what could happen in terms of the Rian Johnson trilogy. Seeing the unseen. Thank you. Can Star Wars be saved, or do we help them with the mercy killing? I guess we just have to wait and watch with interest. Well, seeing the unseen, if you want to see Star Wars change, not necessarily die, you gotta let Episode 9 die. You can't just be apathetic for the next year, and then when it comes out, be, in on it, because it makes it look like the hype's there, and people are coming out of the woodwork to support it. So what you do is you just let it be known, either online, in person. I don't know, write your letter, do what you got to do, but do your part to let them know that Episode 9 must be sacrificed. Just don't go see the movie. That's the best thing you can do. If you can't do the other things, just don't go see the movie. We're going to make sure that people know about the situation, always. And that just, fuck it, don't go see Episode 9. That's the one I'm telling you to skip if you want to change it. Jeffrey Toon, thank you. Rian Johnson lost a lot of money for Disney by proxy. I think he'll be on the independent films from now on. Yeah, I hope so, because that's where he fits best. He is the kind of guy that you give him a big franchise and he fucks it up and he's done. I'm trying to think of another director who you gave the keys to and they fucked it up so badly. It's like your dad let you drive his Porsche on prom night and you just crashed it into a tree. Instead of having J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson, maybe you should have started with like a Jon Favreau or somebody like that, because based on Jon Favreau's track record, he's made some really good stuff. Looking at you, Iron Man. And yeah, Iron Man 2, you're not as good as Iron Man 1, but you know what? Iron Man 2 is still a better sequel than what Rian Johnson brought to the table after Force Awakens. So Rian Johnson will be the poster child for I ruined a good thing by letting my ego get in the way. My round-headed ego ruined it all for everybody. And I'm not saying people in the street are going to attack him, but I wouldn't be surprised if people in public booed him. Like, if I ever saw Rian Johnson in public, I'd just boo him. Like, boo, you suck. He would act like he doesn't care, but after a while, that shit would get to him. So I'm not saying you got to find him to boo him, but there are people out there that will openly boo his ass. Darren Copson, what's up to you too, my friend? We're just talking about the situation with Grace Randolph. Dio Brando, I'll see if Devil Artemis can do it, Jeff. In terms of what? I completely lost the context at Dio Brando, so if you just want to tag me in a post, I'll gladly answer your question a little better. I apologize. Kevin Smith slurps at the SJW tweet. He's funny, though. Kevin Smith, I was thinking about Kevin Smith today. For some reason, I was thinking about Kevin Smith when I was tying my shoes. I was thinking about the Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back ending, where they talk about the Blunt Man and Chronic movie, and the guy goes, "I can't believe Judi Dench played me." It was Dante that said it. And how, oh, okay. In terms of animation, Dio Brando, okay. See that, though. I mean, people got to just, people need to bring their skills together to make all this kind of stuff happen. We live in a really cool time where the internet can bring people together and make anything happen. So let's not let any of those resources go to waste. Super chat from Obi2 Big Nuts. Sorry, that name is throwing me off. I still wonder how Johnson got his own trilogy. Well, remember, it hasn't happened yet. Shit gets canceled all the time. I mean, maybe he'll get it made if he just uses the first draft of his story like he did with The Last Jedi, but we don't want to get too concerned with that. I wouldn't be surprised if his trilogy kind of slowly disappeared, because they can't do like all the PR would look terrible on Disney, like if they canceled everything, because then people would begin to question everything they've done. It could hurt investor confidence, and the stock prices might go down and stuff like that. Like there are elements that a lot of the fans don't understand as to why they don't do certain things. But I also think they're just waiting. They're picking their time to do it. You know, they don't want to hurt the box office of The Incredibles by having people think a certain way about Disney Pixar. They don't want to hurt the box office of Ant-Man because of the way that people are going to perceive Disney Marvel. By the way, because of all this negative hype with Star Wars and all this shit, I've actually forgot Ant-Man's coming out. And I liked Ant-Man a lot. The first one I loved Ant-Man 1, and I can't wait to see 2, but I forgot about it. So you see how Disney is actually hurting their brand by letting shit like this happen all the time? There is a fan war going on between us and them, and the people that are promoting Disney in terms of like, oh, they're going to defend them until the end and die on their sword, they're making us forget about some of these other movies that people do want to see. Moopty, thank you very much for your generous super chat. Normally, you don't give a director a trilogy until after your work becomes a success. The fact that they greenlit his trilogy before The Last Jedi came out was one of the many signs that something was wrong. Well, Mupti, I'm glad I read your super chat after I said what I said, because it's all about the public perception. You know, Disney may have known what a dumpster fire The Last Jedi was. So instead of and some of them, you know, we were like that. We were talking about it like a 2, and the advertising didn't really build a lot of confidence, but they're using that to deflect. Like I made that video once, deflection, a Star Wars story. Everything from Lucasfilm has been really smart deflection, but now it's like in a video game. When you use your superpower move, after a while it loses its effect. The deflection has lost its effect. So they use that to deflect from the fact that Rian Johnson's trilogy or movie isn't that great, but they want to make everyone think it's that great. So they're like, hey, there's more coming out. They have so much confidence in this. I should have confidence in it too. And it works for the people that tie their identity into Star Wars on an emotional level. To many people, it's just a movie. To many people like me, it's a movie that I'm really involved and invested in, but it doesn't, you know, like I can separate myself from it and acknowledge that there are bad moments in Star Wars or bad things from Star Wars. And they used the Rian Johnson trilogy announcement to cater to those people who can't separate themselves. So they just are out there. They're the loud ones. Oh, it's going to be so great. The Last Jedi is so great because, you know, there's a trilogy coming out, guys. You just got to wait for the trilogy. And then The Last Jedi does what it does. It made a bunch of money in the beginning. It fucking bombed out of China. The rest of the world doesn't give a shit about Star Wars. I think movies like that are called baizu in China. They just don't care about the weird political agendas in Star Wars. They don't even care about the brand of Star Wars. You know, Disney tries to expand into other countries and markets, and it just what they're giving the rest of the world just doesn't work, because the rest of the world is not the little sliver known as Hollywood, California. Like Hollywood has all the control, but the rest of the world has more money. That's one thing people need to realize, instead of thinking, oh, they can control the media and they can control this and that. If enough people come together, they control it, because it's all about money, and everybody that brings a dollar to the table has a say about it by just not going and not supporting it. So when your movie drops off a huge percentage the following weekend, leaves an entire country in like what, 2 weeks or 8 days or something, and then the next one, Solo: A Star Wars Story, is a dumpster fire. I mean, we're talking about just bad decisions on every level. And the perception that Rian Johnson trilogy is going to come out isn't going to save that. So thank you, Mupdi, for your super chat. Greep Hole, cool name. Sort of like the Boba Fett before Solo. Failed gamble. Exactly. 100%. They're thinking that they can just say buzzwords and phrases and this and that. Boba Fett, Han Solo, Star Wars, Millennium Falcon. Hey, money. No. We saw the movies you made in big numbers, and they sucked. Why would these next ones be any different? Like I said, I liked Rogue One so much because I left the theater being thankful that it wasn't the dumpster fire of originality that The Force Awakens was. But then upon further inspection, I realized it's not that great compared to what I thought. Some people may like it. I think it's the best of the Disney Star Wars movies, but still it's not that great. I'm not moved like I am when I watch The Empire Strikes Back. But they're still living in that fantasy land where they come into work, they think their shit don't stink, and they can just do whatever they want. They're bulletproof and say, hey, guys, Boba Fett and Han Solo are coming out. Get excited. And then back in the day, people would have been like, oh, my God, really? But after being shit on called man babies for a year, people are just like, who cares? Just get out of power, leave. Nothing you do is going to be a good movie. Is it not scary that Disney suits are too scared of the political backlash to purge Lucasfilm? Tells a lot about the power structure in the West. Yes, I think it's interesting, but we can still sway them by the finances. Remember, folks, they're all business. If you take away their money, they'll have a just reason, because Disney did poorly in the 80s and was on the ropes before, and they've done a certain thing, they've acted or they've performed a certain way to make sure that never happens. So I'm pretty sure that they'll reach a tipping point with this SJW nonsense in their entertainment, and they won't go for it. Marvel will be a telling sign, because if Star Wars can be treated like this by its fan base, Marvel can too. Because Marvel doesn't have, in terms of the film, doesn't have the 40-year lineage and love that Star Wars pisses enough people off, they'll just leave it like that. We have a super chat again from Dragon Han. Thank you very much. Let's sing na 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 na. Oh, na 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 na. Hey hey hey. Goodbye to Kathleen Kennedy at Star Wars Celebration 2019. Sure, I have a terrible singing voice, but I'll gladly start it for you. I think she'll be gone by then. If this keeps up and this news gains traction, and you guys share this live stream or post about it on our Facebook page, and we share that, and everyone just keeps spreading the word, it can happen. And it's going to be really interesting tomorrow to see how sites like Screen Rant and IO9 and all these other garbage websites try to spin it and say, oh, it almost happened. It's a rumor. It's this, it's that. This is kind of a big deal. This is a deal breaker. We need to pay attention to shit like this. Daniel Thomas, thank you very much. I'd much rather sit through watching The Human Centipede than Rian Johnson's sequel again. I would too. The Human Centipede's garbage, but I'd rather watch enjoyable garbage that knows what it is. There's not a franchise that I don't think I would rather watch than The Last Jedi right now. I mean, maybe the Care Bear movie? I don't know. I've never seen it. So it has that novelty effect. But The Last Jedi is just a bad time. It's like that stupid South Park meme. If you're going to watch The Last Jedi, then you're going to have a bad time. So, Authorius85, you came in late. What did you miss? Well, Grace Randolph put out a video talking about the dumpster fire over at Lucasfilm. In a roundabout way, there was a meeting at Disney between Lucasfilm, and then there was Pixar and Marvel listening in on the call, and it was brought up about the situation of Star Wars in terms of, it's underperforming, how the people feel about it. Bob Iger suggested that somebody replace Kathleen Kennedy, but no one would step up due to either being a loyalist to Kathleen Kennedy or the fact that no one could handle the job or thinks they can handle the job. And this is all from Grace Randolph. She has the insider information, the scoop, if you will. And then it just talked about how catering to the SJW fans, her words, doesn't work, and that the classic fans, the first fandom, as she called it, those are the people that bring in the money and see the movie 8 times in theaters, and they're not getting that audience because they're actively trying to destroy them. Like I said, well, I don't say this, but go woke or get woke, go broke, and that's what's happening with Star Wars right now. Sills Will, thank you very much. Jurassic World 2 may make more money than The Last Jedi has 2 times Solo. I haven't really followed anything for Jurassic World 2. Was it The Fallen Kingdom or Lost Kingdom or something, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull? I just didn't follow it whatsoever. As I've said on this channel, didn't grow up with Jurassic Park, don't have the nostalgia. I see the trailers and I go, well, that's another movie I can skip. Much like Warcraft. Much like, I'm trying to think of another trailer that I would see. That the Transformers 4. No, 5. Yeah, the 5th one. The one with Anthony Hopkins, that was the one that I saw the trailer for like weekly, and I just couldn't handle it. That was the worst trailer ever. Who's the fat chick in the story group? I don't know who they are. I don't know anybody. There's Kiri Hart, and the rest of them, there's Pablo Hidalgo. We'll call him the fat chick. Ruin Johnsuck lives in an underground bunker destroying J.J. Abrams' mystery boxes. That's pretty cool. I like that. Why have the mainstream media politicized Ant-Man and the Wasp already like they did with Black Panther? What do they aim to achieve? Nothing? I guess they want to destroy it? What do any of these people aim to achieve in terms of this weird ideology that serves no purpose to anyone? Look, I liked Ant-Man. I thought Janet was fine in the story. I'm looking forward to Ant-Man and the Wasp. Don't make it anything else than a Marvel story, the logical progression of the character. Like I said before, Warner Brothers was smart to not make Wonder Woman this weird political SJW film. The media tried to do it, but Patty Jenkins and the people in charge over there kind of stayed the path and gave us a movie that really is kind of light on that crap. There are a couple jokes here and there, but any movie, a joke is a joke. The whole movie is not mean-spirited about hating men. And they really made Wonder Woman... Wonder Woman should be used, the character should be used as a template for how to create a strong character, female-wise, in the Star Wars universe, because Wonder Woman was vulnerable, allowed herself to be vulnerable, was interesting. We cared about the character's emotions. I'll speak for myself and maybe a couple of you guys in this chat, but when Rey found out her parents were nobodies and she had that stupid thing in the cave, did anyone give a shit? I thought it was dumb because the character's shitty. I don't care if she wins or loses. I have no emotional investment in the character because she's been poorly acted, poorly written, and poorly shoved down our fucking throats. We have another super chat from England DDG. Thank you very much. Sounds like Iger gave Kathleen and Ryan the coffee is for closer speech today. Boom. I love it. I love the analogy right there. I don't know much about Bob Iger, but I do know that people with jobs like him don't like to lose money, and they have to answer to somebody. So the Star Wars brand being in the toilet is beneficial to no one. And they want to make money in perpetuity from the Star Wars brand. They want people from all over the world to travel to Florida or California to see that Star Wars theme, the Star Wars theme parks. We got somebody that's a fan of our channel coming from the Netherlands to go to Celebration and hang out with us. So they need to worry about people all over the world. And that's what I think Bob Iger was doing when he gave that speech. Dio Brando, again, thank you very much for your super chat. I'm more excited about the Michael Bay Dora the Explorer movie than any Star Wars film under Kathleen Kennedy. You're smart to be. You're smart to be. I don't know if I'm excited is the right word, but I'm curiously interested. I don't like the Transformers movies, but Michael Bay has made some good stuff. I like The Rock, Bad Boys 1 and 2, and I really like Pain and Gain. It's one of my favorite movies starring The Rock. So Michael Bay still has it. I'm not completely out on Michael Bay. And yeah, Wonder Woman was awesome till the end fight. Sorry that sucked. Don't apologize to me, Treas316. I don't like the ending battle of Wonder Woman at all. I think the movie would have been way better if she gets to man's world, fights the war, learns all the stuff about humanity, kills off that guy that was taking the inhalant and the Scarface lady, and then Ares wasn't even real. Like, he had either died or gone away. There was no Ares. Like, the battle and the moral of the story was for her to learn about humanity. And it should have ended there with Steve Trevor sacrificing himself and no end battle. Would have been much more entertaining. But we're given a crappy CGI fest that just doesn't serve the purpose at all. You want to make Wonder Woman the moral center of the Justice League. You have her fight battles like that and still fight in war and be, doing what she's doing. I thought it was cool when she saved all those people at the museum in England. But you missed your opportunity to make the character mean so much more besides the pow pow biff bam. Hey, I'm fighting Ares. That was so dumb. You like the Bayformer movies? That's fine. The first one's okay enough. The second one's terrible. The third, ugh. Like Joel, if you hear this live stream, fuck you, Joel. I want my money back for seeing Transformers 3 on the 4th of July. You owe me big time, dude. So a lot of people are watching this. If any more people have questions, let's hear. People are agreeing that the ending was the worst part of Wonder Woman. Thank you for agreeing, but you don't have to. Let's see. Feminists are saying men are in crisis. Projecting much? I don't know what crisis guys are having. I'm a guy. I'm not having any type of crisis. Life's cool. I'm very happy. We got this. We got everything else is flowing good. So I don't know if you guys are in crisis mode. If it's in, share. We'll have a group therapy session here on World Class Bullshitters. The DCEU is the Friday the 13th to MCU's Halloween. Ooh. I don't know. Let's see. Halloween has that first movie that is just perfect to me in terms of suspense, horror, all that stuff. Friday the 13th, though, has made a lot more money. So maybe you want to switch the analogy. I don't know. That's up to you. I do think Friday the 13th movies are shittier compared to the Halloween ones. But then again, Halloween has Resurrection and Halloween 5 and Halloween 6, and those are just as bad as Friday the 13th part 5 and 9 and 8. Most of them. We have a super chat here from GamerGirl5317. Thank you very much. New Jurassic World equals same as Last Jedi. Release animals. Capitalism is bad. Just another SJW film. Or it says SKW, but I assume you meant SJW. Well, thank you for telling me the garbage plot of this film, because I'm definitely going to skip it. I had no interest in seeing it before, and now I won't even watch it if it was available for free. Our friend Coach Loudy gave us access to watch Van Forstick, the Josh Trank dumpster fire. And that was one of those movies I'm like, just turn this shit off. It serves no purpose and it's not beneficial. I don't even know how Jurassic World is doing. Let's see. Let me check the box office real quick for the Jurassic World thing. So, let's see. So Jurassic World 2's box office I don't want the first one. Currently, it's sitting at $618 million, so it's going to be a hit. Can't deny that it's going to make a bunch of money, but my money is not going to be there. Rob Zombie MCU would do better than Soylent. No, Joel. You've crossed the line. Rob Zombie is nobody's friend in terms of making a good movie. Wild Warlock. Hello, Jeff. Don't have any money. Just wanted to say good day, cunt. Well, good day to you, Wild Warlock, and thank you for watching as always. I did watch Mahler's Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom video, all 52 or 56 minutes of it. I'm a big Mahler supporter. He's been on the channel many times, so I do what I can do to help his channel. By the way, folks, tomorrow night, the High Council is here on World Class Bullshitters at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we got Doomcock. So if you don't know who Doomcock is, search Overlord DVD here on YouTube and make sure you watch some of his content, because tomorrow night's High Council will be the best High Council, guaranteed. So have your questions lined up and make sure you're here. You don't want to miss a single moment of that, because that show, just is a mile a minute. You just keep on going. You can't miss anything from the High Council, especially this week. Sean Lucas, thank you very much for your super chat. Ray/lightsaber vision in The Force Awakens. Retrocognition, object memory attach, has precedent. Jedi Master Quinlan Voss had it. Maybe she's a descendant of Voss. See, that stuff works in the books, but it hasn't been presented to a wide audience of people. Quinlan Voss is in episode 1 for like a brief second and has an action figure. They don't. The way the main stuff has been presented to us on film, the lightsaber's never been that. And then they don't do anything with it. If they would have done something with it, it would have meant more. But now the lightsaber's destroyed, and she doesn't have it anymore. So all that was for naught. That's a story for another day. There is no other day. The next day is never going to come. I don't get it. I don't know why anyone would, you know, try to either do that in the first place or not at least follow up on it. Even if I dislike it, if they followed up strongly, there's that. But retrocognition, if it does have a precedent, that's fine. I still think it was dumb, and I will stand by that one until the end. It just didn't fit with that movie. That movie was so many weird things shoehorned in. Like, when you watch the first Star Wars movie, they introduce the Jedi mind trick and this and that and the other. But it has they explain it. They don't literally go, it's a story for another time. That's like they don't have a plan. They just, oh, it's a cool idea. Let's do something with it. Oh, we have another super chat from Clip024. Do you think MCU movies will move away from the direction Star Wars has gone? They seem to be headed that way before the backlash from Star Wars. You know, it's a smart thing to watch what Star Wars is doing and then not do it. Kevin Feige has really been a godsend in terms of keeping the MCU focused on its endgame. But now that its endgame has happened, it's starting to crumble a little bit. I think Marvel would be slick to not do that and not follow suit for Star Wars. I don't think anybody really wants to see a garbage Marvel movie. You know, it's great that you're going to have Captain Marvel in a film, but now you're going to throw in Miss Marvel, and then Sony's going to do Silk and all this stuff. And it's not that they're female movies, but pick good female characters. Don't pick the newest ones that don't have the goodwill with the fans. If you want to make a female superhero movie that people are going to be into, you could do a Black Widow prequel, her and Hawkeye. You have Jeremy Renner. He's a great actor. You have Scarlett Johansson. She's good enough. There's two characters that people give a shit about. Let's not do some little kid as a Marvel character. We got to see how Shazam works first, because Billy Batts, in terms of the Shazam, that movie looks like it's going to be a dumpster fire. Marvel would be smart not to announce all this crap and just keep continuing the good stories instead of worrying about this, that, and the other. I know you can't get Robert Downey Jr. forever, but you can definitely throw money at these people to keep them around a little longer, and you can be smarter with it. And if anything, you don't want to make Captain Marvel the fucking head of the MCU. Make it Spider-Man. You got a new young Spider-Man. You got one Spider-Man movie under the belt. Let's keep it rolling. People like Spider-Man from all walks of life. You can make a lot more money from Spider-Man than you will Captain Marvel. And Brie Larson doesn't have the charisma that Chris Hemsworth has. Just saying. Indie Defense, thank you. Jurassic World 2 is why I'm glad Trevor was fired from episode 9. I still don't know about, no matter what, I don't think J.J. Abrams is going to deliver. So we'll see. It's just like the Lord and Miller. You never know what could have been. Squirrel Girl, fuck that movie. Pokemon beat Star Wars as the biggest franchise ever. Star Wars is dead, sadly. Pokemon did? I mean, maybe if we count other merchandise, but I mean, in terms of box office, the MCU is like double what Star Wars is. If Rob Zombie's hired to direct a Star Wars movie, I'll eat a hat on camera. I'll eat Jeremy's hat on camera. So there you go. Let's see. JJ is worse. Pokemon is huge in China. JJ will end it like Lost. No, you need to end this movie strongly. And if you piss anyone off with this, Star Wars is officially dead. Officially dead. Iron Man is the heart of the MCU. Yes, he is. Robert Downey Jr. and the character Iron Man are just too strong to replace. And then when they kill him off, there's going to be a lot of emotion, but you can't do it with an untested hero. Chris Prassa, thank you very much. Will Brie Larson be Brie Larson be the Daisy Ridley of the MCU? Brie Larson can act better than Daisy Ridley, but the thing is, I don't think Daisy Ridley has the shit attitude that Brie Larson has. I think they're the inverse of each other. Like, Daisy Ridley's just kind of there, and she's bad in the movie, but she's okay in real life. And Brie Larson's a shitheel in real life, but good in movies. So she's the opposite of her, if you will, if that makes sense. Let's see. Get your A1 sauce. Jeff, who has more class, Brett Ratner or Ryan Johnson? Well, Brett Ratner's done some dirty shit behind the scenes, and Ryan Johnson does dirty shit in front of the cameras to all of us. So I'm gonna put them on the same level in terms of they're both assholes. Brie Larson needs to wax her turd cutter. Ugh. That is a story for another podcast. You save that kind of talk for world-class bullshitters. Let's see. Social justice destroyed all my childhood memories. I'm sorry, Bill. Let's see. Guys, send in a few more interesting questions. I'm going to close this out because I have dinner, and then I'm going to be on another channel tonight. Here we go. Captain Liberator, thank you very much. Here's your fix for episode 9. Everyone dies badly. Start over fresh. Boom. I love it. Yeah, if everyone could die in the first 5 minutes, that'd be great. Like an Order 66 style execution. Just, oh my God, Rey dies, then Finn dies, then Poe dies, then Rose Tico dies. Everyone's dead. The BB-8 gets crushed by a walker. You keep R2 and C3PO. Let them roll. Let them live to die another day. I like those characters. This is world-class bullshitter, Squire Simpson says. I know. If you guys want to talk about Brie Larson and all that, send in your questions. I don't tell you guys what not to say. But I think it'd be funnier to have Kendo and Dion talk about that as well. Dinner is for closers. Yeah, I'm a closer, all right. Do you think Captain Marvel will be more of The Last Jedi where it deliberately is political, or like Black Panther with media builds it up? Well, Black Panther was not completely free of politics. And that stupid colonizer line has been used by a lot of fucking idiots over on Facebook. So Black Panther has caused a little more problems than we think, but it was still cleaner. It wasn't as clean as Wonder Woman, but it was still cleaner than the media wanted to make it out to be. Because Black Panther was introduced in Civil War, and you already had a pre-existing fan base. If you would have started off Black Panther earlier, you may not have the same success because that SJW movement doesn't bring in the money that people think. Notice, this SJW garbage isn't in anything original. If it is, it's over on Netflix where you've already paid for a subscription. It's not something you have to actively go out to support. They just shove it in, shoehorn it, wreck it. It's like Aunt Edna from National Lampoon's Vacation. She just gloms onto someone else's family and makes them have a bad time. They put this crap in other forms of entertainment, not original stuff. There's a reason for that, because that shit doesn't sell to anyone. So they sink the ship of what's good and what's working. Jeffrey Toon, what are you having for din-dins? I don't know yet, man. It's Monday. I don't have too much time to cook, so I'll probably grab something because I got to be back online at 10:30 tonight. And I'll be tweeting out the link where you can find me. I'm on another channel. We're talking about Star Wars toys. So if you want to hear me being interviewed and ask questions too, that's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you check that out. And I'll be sharing that throughout the rest of the night. Dio Brando. I'm calling her Cheese Larson because I heard she smells bad. I've heard that rumor a bunch, mostly from you guys. Like people were saying, oh, she stinks, her hair is dirty, this, that, and the other. I don't get it. I like to shower. She's got millions of dollars. She can afford the nicest bathtub in the world, with the jets right up your ass. What's not to love about a bath? I guess let's ask Brie Larson. Jimmy B. Wonder what Trekkies would think about Lucas directing a Star Trek film. Ooh, I have never heard that question before. You know what? I don't know if they'd be that pissed after the shit show that is Star Trek Discovery, or STD for short. Who knows? Maybe George Lucas has a couple ideas. I think there was an interesting interview. There was a documentary called like Something in the Sun. It was about Gene Roddenberry's son. And I think George Lucas and them had an interview at the end. And I remember liking it. I got to check that out and get back to you guys with that. But that'd be an interesting take to see George Lucas direct a Star Trek film. I mean, J.J. Abrams went from Star Trek to Star Wars. Lucas created Star Wars. Let's go into Star Trek. Wouldn't you shit if he created this awesome Star Trek movie that everyone loved? Better than Wrath of Khan? Definitely better than Into Darkness. Definitely better than Beyond. The Rubber Band Man, thank you very much. Stop hating on Black Panther. Hate on Brie Larson. I'm not hating on Black Panther. I gave that movie a 7 out of 10. But I'm being honest. They pulled some of that shit, and people just seemed to act like it wasn't in there. So that's what I am on the channel. Honest. I saw it in the movie more so than Wonder Woman. But I still liked the movie, and I thought T'Challa, the character's great. I liked everybody in the movie. I think I just don't like how people respond and have this weird attitude after the movie. The movie was fine. I liked it just fine. I'm glad that it was where it was because it led into Infinity War and all that good stuff. So Black Panther's cool in my book. Like I said on my live stream the other night, got a Black Panther Marvel Legends figure. Like the character enough to purchase the merchandise. And to me, that's a sign of, hey, I really like your character if I own your merchandise. So yeah, Wakanda Forever. Wakanda's fine. I wouldn't put it in my top 5 MCU films, but I wouldn't put it in my bottom 5 either. It was a very good film that I enjoyed and gave it a 7 out of 10. Vibranium sucks. Vibranium is a cool concept. World Class Bullshitters needs to have a National Lampoon's Vacation Marathon watch party. I like the way you think. I'm putting together a video for Patreon about the top 5 summer movies, and I want to do watch parties for all of them before the summer's over, and National Lampoon's Vacation is on there. So if we can get a lot of love for the Clark W. Griswold clan, we'll do it. You know what? I don't care. If like 20 people are watching, it's still a good time because I'm watching a movie I love, hanging out with my friends, talking to you guys. So we can make that happen, Joel. Just remind me over on the Facebook page, and I'm going to write that down to add to my list of movies. maybe we'll do a double feature. If we do Vacation, we're going to do a double feature of original and European Vacation, because you kind of got to watch them both back to back. Christmas Vacation, we can wait. Let's see, Black Panther was boring. Christmas Vacation is my favorite one. I like that movie a lot. It's a good film. Man, there's a lot of people sticking around for this. It's funny, the streams where I have all night to talk, people come in and out. The streams where I gotta go, people are just sticking with me. It's awesome. I guess it's the time of day. Maybe I should stop eating dinner at dinner time and wait around. Holiday Road, baby. Damn right. I love those movies a lot. So, folks, thank you for sticking with me, and thank you for discussing the news that Kathleen Kennedy is on the ropes and that Bob Iger had a conference with Marvel and Pixar, just listening, as well as the Lucasfilm crew, and they're, concerned about Kathleen Kennedy's job performance, and the question of her being fired has officially been brought up. So the fact that this is even a topic for discussion is interesting and fun. Thank you, Buck Rogers. You are awesome as well. So let's just remember today is a victory for the Star Wars fans, not necessarily a complete and utter defeat of Kathleen Kennedy's reign over at Lucasfilm, but at least the cracks are beginning to show, and the fact that this is a topic of discussion over at Lucasfilm should make everyone happy. Disney wants to make money. Star Wars doesn't make money, but it could. It can make way more money, double what it's making. But weird ideologies and shitting on your fan base just don't win anyone anything. You don't win money, you don't win awards, you don't win accolades. So I'll have plenty of time for supper when I die. That would be, it'd be terrible. Actually, people are waiting on me. That's kind of why I'm closing it out. Name drop tonight's host. Blippity Blop is the guy. Check out the channel. He's in the chat right now. So that's the guy whose channel I'm going to be on. I'll make sure that I tweet it out, put it on our Facebook page. I'll even put it here on YouTube so everyone can watch it. I want these numbers for tonight. They're a channel that deserves it. So let's make that happen. I'm not having a craft dinner tonight. I apologize. I need a shirt. Dion Seaman is vibranium. Sure, we can do that. Can mine be adamantium? Let's see. What am I eating? I think I'm going to Outback, actually. The internet's about to get so hot. So, folks, thank you for watching this impromptu live stream. I'll be back tomorrow morning with Good Morning Pop Culture. We'll discuss this more there. So for our audience that misses this, that's in a different part of the world, different time zone, I'll be bringing this topic back early in the morning, and we'll be free-forming it all the way till 10 a.m. So tomorrow morning, 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check your time zones. I don't know what time the show airs in your part of the world, but it'll be on, and it'll be a lot of fun. So I'll be back tomorrow then with the show, and I'll be back in a few hours on another channel. So make sure you guys subscribe to this channel. Make sure you follow our Facebook pages. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, and you have our email address, worldclassbs@mail.com, thebestmail.com. By the way, we're building that Discord server, so for those who are interested in it, make sure you're following us to find out all the information. And finally, I'm closing this out with Nick B, you rule. Thank you very much.